Madison County is the best place to visit if you're trying to escape the city life. If you're looking to find a peaceful vacation, if you want to be out in the outdoors, if you want to unplug, Madison County is the place to be. Madison County is a fantastic destination for people who love the outdoors and arts and just learning about a little bit about this section of American history too. And it's a beautiful area. Everyone loves the Blue Ridge Mountains in Appalachia, and we're really lucky to live here.
Welcome back to WNC HeartBEAT. I am Allie, and this is my co-host, Anna. And today we're here with Bill Downey, one of the key individuals behind Madison County's tourism efforts, and the person who helps shape how visitors experience this place we call home. So welcome, Bill. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
So, Bill, for people who may not know you personally, how did you end up doing this work, this tourism work in Madison County, and what keeps you here?
Well, I live in Mars Hill. I moved here 8 or so years ago with my wife. Previously, I was working with boards and HOAs and condos and stuff like that in the real estate sphere in New York. And I just always like working with nonprofits and just trying to help build communities. And I first started just working with the Rotary Club. And from there, I just kind of found other little niches to work in, and eventually started helping out with the Chamber of Commerce and then the tourism department. There was a real lack of broadcasting effectively in Madison County for our hiking and outdoors. And so I was reached out to by a couple people in Hot Springs to see if I could help them out a little bit with getting content and just working on some things. And then it just kind of kept snowballing from there.
Just maybe you can help explain to any listeners right now what your role is with Madison County Tourism, sort of in plain English.
Yep. So primarily, I operate out of the Madison County Visitor Center in Mars Hill, and I'm the administrator for the board. I handle all the day-to-day administrative tasks for the board. I collect the grants. I help make sure the board knows about the grants that we're working on. I also oversee all the digital and print marketing that we do throughout the year. So overall, I'm just kind of presenting new ideas on how we can reach more people, bring more tourism, and work with entities to have events here in Madison County and bring tourism back to Madison County.
So it sounds like, Bill, I know you as someone who has, like we said, many hats, but you're really passionate about getting the word out there in an effective way to bring tourists to Madison County because of all the amazing things that we offer. Isn't that right?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, Madison County has a different varieties of tourism depending what you're into. We kind of stand on 3 different pillars of it here, where there's the outdoors, and we're lucky we have the Appalachian Trail. We got New Hatley Point and skiing, camping, fishing, rafting, all the outdoors. We also have the arts, and Marshall in particular is a kind of a hot spot for the arts and creative people. Their slogan is, creativity on the river. And then the last pillar we have is really heritage, where there's a lot of people that really honor the musical legacy, which kind of comes with the arts, as well as the barns. There's a big Bailey Mountain Preserve here in Mars Hill that people really love. And there's a whole history in Madison County that a lot of people are really interested in too. So those 3 kind of pillars we kind of navigate around and try to promote as much as we can.
So I would be curious to ask you one question that's not on the script is if you seem like you have a bird's eye view of Madison County. Like literally, I know you did some of those amazing drone shots in some of your recent videos. What would you say to someone who's looking to visit Madison County, and how would you tell them as much as you could tell them in 30 seconds?
I'd say Madison County is the best place to visit if you're trying to escape the city life. If you're looking to find a peaceful vacation, if you want to be out in the outdoors, if you want to unplug, Madison County is the place to be. Sometimes you just can't connect to the internet, and that's what's the draw. Sometimes you're going up to factory, you can't go here even if you want to. But Madison County is a fantastic destination for people who love the outdoors and arts and just learning about a little bit about this section of American history too. And it's a beautiful area. I mean, everyone loves the Blue Ridge Mountains in Appalachia, and we're really lucky to live here. And I'm always happy to promote it.
Come experience it with us, right?
Absolutely. Well, I know a common thing that some people I guess, a bit of a stereotype about tourism is that, there's some concern that, too much tourism is a bad thing. Whether it's maybe, they want to protect the culture, the lands, the pace of life, the environment, whatever it is. Is there sort of a fine line? Is there a balance? How do we responsibly, sustainably promote tourism without kind of, tarnishing some of the natural beauty and history that's here?
Sure. Well, yeah, I get that push-pull a lot, actually. I mean, being in charge of the social media account for the tourism, I get a lot of hate sometimes. People are just very frustrated that I'm showing off this waterfall or something. But as this last year has exemplified, tourism is our lifeblood here in Madison County. And because of Hurricane Helene, I think it was more dramatic than ever, just how vital it is for our little economy here in Madison County. So the Tourism Development Authority works very closely with the other entities of Madison County governments to make sure that we aren't growing too fast. If we're promoting something and we're not able to anticipate the traffic quite yet for stuff like that, we don't ever do anything too drastic without consulting with other entities. The Forest Service, the Madison County Tourism Development Authority also is very, very adamant about cleaning up all the trails. We clean up the trails every time we're broadcasting them out there, getting footage and content. What you don't see is that we've got like a bag of just collecting up if there's ever anything litter, which there very, very rarely is. And if you remember a couple of years ago, there was that one incident on Max Patch where there was like that photo. Someone took a drone shot of just all these people like camping up there or something. And, that was a big eye-opening thing. Oh, this is not good. We should not be doing this too much. And I'm not sure how that was coordinated because it seemed like it was almost like a coordinated effort, whatever that group was that had that tent thing going on. But since then, we've been careful not to promote anything like that could ever wreck some of the natural beauty of this area. And yeah, we work closely with a lot of different entities to make sure we're not overextending ourselves and not prepared for too much.
That makes really good sense. Well, if someone is, let's say they're visiting for the first time, what can they sort of expect when they arrive to a place like the Visitor Center? Like they're new to the area, they're not really sure what to do. They walk into a visitor center. Talk to me about that experience.
True. It happens every day here at our visitor center in Mars Hill. We say, how long are you in for the area? And depending on how long they've got time for, we're always recommending, you got to go check out the Appalachian Trail while you're here. We're one of the few counties that has the Appalachian Trail luckily in it. So you should go check it out if you can. Here's the spots. If you got some more time, check out these restaurants. Are you into the arts? We always want to it's almost like a pulse. We want to check their pulse on where they're staying and what they're into. And with that information, we'll promote more in whichever direction you get the information about. So if someone's coming in for the first time, hopefully they have an idea of what they're into, and then they're visiting Appalachian Mountains. Hopefully they're into the outdoors. And so we'll give them our recommendations. We'll say, and after you're done, be sure to check out this restaurant you'll love, their tacos, stuff like that. It's kind of a case-by-case basis.
After Hurricane Helene, which you alluded to, tourism became a complicated topic. How did the TDA work with such a significant event?
Yeah, we kind of reoriented what we can do, and we are working closely with Visit NC, which is the major tourism entity of North Carolina, where they had an excellent map that showed each of the counties and who was open for business, each of the towns that were open for business, and we worked closely with them, worked closely with the Downtown Marshall Association and Hot Springs Association there to see how we were feeling. Are we partially open yet? What do we want to broadcast? And are you ready? And so we were keeping a close eye on what we should be broadcasting and when. But before we could do that, we kind of oriented towards the concept of voluntourism, which I might have heard before. And we even have a new spot on our website about it, showing off Rebuild Hot Springs and the Marshall Relief Alliance, because it's still ongoing. But we made a lot of promotional stuff about, hey, come and rent a cabin and do some volunteering in downtown Marshall. There's plenty to do. It's a great way to help us come back And we were keeping an eye with what the other tourism entities were doing. Buncombe County had a great slogan, which was if you want to be part of the comeback and come back, which we always thought was a really good one. But yeah, you probably saw a lot of our flyers that we were pushing on social media of just the volunteer opportunities. And when we were ready to open back up, we made sure to broadcast it really loudly. And so it was a careful, stressful time, but we're getting there. And we're mostly there in Hot Springs and Marshall, but there's certainly a long-term recovery effort still. But we're happy that people can come back and can enjoy the mountains and can enjoy downtown Marshall and Hot Springs, and do basically everything that they could have done a year ago, 2 years ago. So it's been a long process, and we've made significant progress.
Yeah, I've been inspired by how the whole the resurgence of tourism and repairs and all that has just been so inspiring. Like, just great how people have put themselves to work and been determined. What I wonder now is those businesses and new businesses and new things that we can offer to tourism, whether it's local tourism, people who are a couple hours away or people coming in from out of state. What can the business owner talk to the TDA about? What are you guys willing to help with?
It's a little tricky because, the TDA can't really fund private businesses, where we can fund nonprofits, or the Downtown Marshall Association. We've helped fund them and all their events through the year. And same with Downtown Hot Springs. So it's really about the events. If you guys have an event idea, the TDA would be happy to help support it, help you broadcast it. So that's probably the main way. If you are a business, tie yourself to an event, and we can probably help you out with some funding.
Right. Partner with a nonprofit in the area and, find a way to come together in community. And then the TDA is an enthusiastic sponsor, I would imagine, is something like that.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Do you have any examples of small investments that ended up having really big effects locally? Investments being from the TDA?
One that's kind of odd, here in Mars Hill, the town of Mars Hill is in the process of purchasing this iconic mountain here called Bailey Mountain. And it kind of silhouettes the town, or it overlooks the town. And a couple years ago, this small nonprofit group called the Friends of Bailey Mountain, they're kind of championing this effort to raise money to purchase this mountain, essentially, so it's not developed, and so that they could build trails on it and make it a nice outdoor park recreational resource for people. And that's the same place where they found $25,000 worth of like gold there a couple weeks ago. It was a big deal. Somebody hid a treasure on that mountain and people found it. It was this wild thing.
What?
There's a big treasure hunt, and it happened to be at Bailey Mountain.
Tell me the story. Wait, what's the story?
Sure, it was wild. I posted about it, and I didn't expect it would be in Madison County, but some person was raising money for Helene, so they put a live camera on a jar of gold that had $25,000 worth of gold nuggets in it. And it was a live camera feed, and every day he would post a aerial shot of a drone, just a very obscure drone shot. And if you subscribed and paid like $10 or something, you'd get the drone shot and information early. And then there's also a map with a circle on it that was basically a circle of all of Western North Carolina, and said, there's treasure in this circle. And so I posted about it and said, oh, maybe it's in Madison County. Madison County's in the circle, maybe. And sure enough, it was. And it was right there at the Bailey Mountain. But Bailey Mountain gets a lot of traffic, and that got a lot more exposure to it. And apparently these treasure hunters found it by looking at the drone shots and using the cloud shadows to figure out that it was on Bailey Mountain somehow. Some insane.
Whoa, how cool is that?
But it was a lot of attention to Bailey Mountain. But the shorter story, what I was trying to say was that Bailey Mountain has been this interesting effort to bring this tourism amenity to the Mars Hill area, this really easy access hiking area, and it's become very, very popular. And a couple of years ago, the Friends of Bailey Mountain reached out to the TDA to see, is there anything we can do to help purchase this land? Or is there anything we can do? And we weren't really in a position to do something like that. It was kind of in a gray area of TDA funds. But we did offer, hey, we can give you a trail tracker. So they set up a special device on the trail. I think we gave them just like $100 or $200 to purchase this kind of trail tracker so that they can get some data of how many people are using this trail, and they can use that data to support other grants and stuff like that to purchase this land. So they've been using this tracker, and they get way more traffic than previously thought because, they don't have to be there to count the people. This thing's doing it for them. And so this small purchase has led to them to obtain a bunch of data so that they can more effectively get more grants and essentially purchase a mountain as a tourism amenity here in Mars Hill. Yeah.
What a cool story.
Let's talk about how visitors can better support the local economy beyond just coming in and stopping for gas and in the cases from Break. Any tips of how they, if they've loved visiting Madison County in the past, they really want to make an impact here. What else can they do to support?
One great way, particularly this holiday season, is we're offering online shopping opportunities, both partnering with the Chamber of Commerce. The Visit Madison County and the Chamber of Commerce website has a holiday shopping guide that features businesses in Madison County that have some kind of online shopping ability. Could just be gift certificates or gift cards, or even just like purchasing an Airbnb getaway for later this spring, or purchasing candles from this local maker here in Madison County. We have a couple websites now on those two entities, the Chamber and Tourism websites, where you can support locally this winter for the holiday season. And it's an easy way to help our little economy here bounce back and stay strong and support our local creators and people here. Because we're lucky in Madison County not to have any major like corporations. Really, it's a lot of just small business folks. So when people are supporting these small businesses, you're really paying for, soccer practice. You're paying for someone's rent that month. You're really helping people out on the smaller scale, not some large corporate rich person, like that. These are small people and small families. And we're able to help out a little bit there for online shopping.
That sounds like a great way to stay local, support your neighbors, support your community. And that sounds like a great thing to have year round. Is there any plans to do something like that?
Yep. We're going to keep the online shopping on the tourism website. For the Chamber website, we'll probably is kind of presented as just like a holiday shopping right now. So we might just kind of tweak it so it's not holiday shopping, but just online. We don't know the phrasing of it, but we'll have it something like that too for the Chamber of Commerce website.
That's awesome.
Let's project forward 5-10 years from now. What kind of tourism are you hoping Madison County has? And what are you also hoping that maybe it avoids?
I'm hoping in the coming 5 years, we're establishing a more balanced flow of tourism. Because right now it's spring, summer, fall, decent flow of people coming to enjoy the mountains for their nature and beauty and hiking and arts and stuff like that. And in the wintertime, we do tend to slow down. But we're hoping that Hatley Point, which I don't know if you've checked it out yet, it's the revamped boutique skiing and snowboarding entity over here in Mars Hill. They've really enhanced this property, and it looks like they're going to be a major resource for tourism in the wintertime. They just opened up last week, and I'm hoping to go out there this weekend to really take some good content and really broadcast it far and wide, because that Hatley Point will be just a real draw in the wintertime, we hope, to Mars Hill and the rest of the county, because everyone can benefit from people Airbnb-ing over in Hot Springs and Marshall, and then going doing some snowboarding and zip and slip and sledding over here in Mars Hill. So I'm hoping that the flow of tourism stays a little bit more constant throughout the year. And one thing I'm also concerned about, but optimistic of, is one issue we have is that Hot Springs and Mars Hill both have passive flow of traffic through their downtowns. So they don't have to do too much work just to get that flow of people coming in. Oh, let's stop and grab a beer kind of a situation. Whereas downtown Marshall doesn't quite have that natural flow. The bypass takes a huge portion of the traffic. So I'm hoping in the next 5 years we can find a reason for there to be more flow to downtown Marshall. And I've got a couple ideas. One thing the Chamber of Commerce has kind of accidentally taken the initiative of is bringing back the USPS to downtown Marshall. A lot of people argue, well, it'll just get flooded again. It'll just get flooded again. But so many people rely on that kind of internal Madison County reason to go to downtown Marshall just to check their mail. Oh, and I'll go grab a coffee too. So if we could restabilize the flow to downtown Marshall, I think that would be really valuable. And USPS might be a way to do that, but I'm open to other ideas too. I've been talking with some outdoor companies about some ideas and how we can introduce maybe an outdoor element to downtown Marshall, because downtown Marshall is kind of the one town in Madison County that doesn't really have an outdoor draw so much as strongly as Hot Spring or Mars Hill does. So that's kind of things that I'm noodling around with, and some obstacles I'm trying to talk to the TDA board about and other entities to see what are our options here.
Wow, Bill, we are so lucky to have you in this county. You're so passionate, and I can see the wheels turning. You're like, maybe you can do this. I love it. It's really great. If you could tell someone coming to Madison County what one of your like heart and soul spots is, like where would you say this is one of the places that inspires me the most? And I don't mean to ask you to play favorites, but do you have something that's just so inspiring that you go back to, that's kind of like your true north of tourism in the county?
The first time I came to Madison County, I was on vacation. We were trying to get out of the city, and we were like, let's go to Asheville. And we were reading up on Max Patch. And we went to Max Patch, and we were just blown away. Like, oh, man, this is a beautiful area. This Asheville, this Western North Carolina is just so underrated. And just seeing these Blue Ridge Mountains, this 360-degree view was really just everything you could ask for when it comes to seeing this part of the world. And it's also just super convenient too, in terms of if you're not a super active hiker, it's just a quick little hike to get to the top really and just be amazed by nature and just in awe of this part of Western North Carolina. So that's really the part I fall in love with. Every time I go to Max Patch, I kind of fall in love all over again. Yeah, that's probably what I would say.
Max Patch has a very special spot in my heart as well. Obviously, not just that it's in Spring Creek, and we're Spring Creekers, so we love that. It was the very first hike I ever went on with me and my twins, not just like walking around like our property, like an actual, we're going to go commute, we're going to put on our hiking boots. And I think they were maybe 4, maybe 5 at the time. And I was nervous, and I'm not a very strong hiker. So I'm like, I don't know how this is going to go. And it was so accessible, so kid friendly. And then when we were at the top, I'm like, are they going to be bored up here? Like, I don't know. A lot of self-doubt. Okay. They were so excited. They thought the view was so cool. So Max Patch does have a very special place in my heart as well. I think it's just worth coming to see. And then the other thing I'd comment on is your comment about winter. Everyone has this impression that like, oh, well, it gets cold. It's not that great here. Winter is beautiful here, and it's mild. And when those mountains get their dusting of snow, I mean, I don't know. What's your favorite season here? That would probably be my question to you, is like, if you were to sort of pick one, you had to stick with it all year, your favorite season in Madison County, what would it be?
It's fall for me, for sure. I've just had a lot of fond memories of a lot of really nice events. There used to be this fundraiser on Broadwing Farm in Hot Springs that was really lovely to raise money for books, I think, for the Hot Springs Library. And it was always in the first or second week of October. And it was always just the perfect event because it was so scenic. The leaves were changing. And It was just not too hot, not too cold. I'm just an autumn, a fall person, a leaf looker, kind of style person, what they say. I'd say, yeah, October's the month for me.
Yeah, it's truly inspiring when things get so colorful and beautiful and the sunlight's just right. And, but what surprises me after living here for, almost 20 years is the depth of things to do. The closer you look, the more there is in this county and in Western North Carolina in particular. It's one of those things. The deeper you look, the more there is to enjoy. And I wouldn't have expected that, being someone who grew up in the city. I moved to North Carolina because I liked being in nature. But the more I lived in nature, the more I met more people, the more I enjoy being here, because there's just so much more than you would ever think. So that's my 2 cents.
We'll make sure that I add your social links again so that people can follow what's going on. Bill's amazing at social media, guys, so be sure to follow the accounts. Bill, thank you so much for your time and sharing your perspective with us. We really appreciate it. And it just sounds like you have so much energy and so much to contribute to our county. And it was really exciting to hear some of the ideas that are percolating in your brain. Very, very forward.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was fun to talk to you. So glad to get to know you a little better, too.
For any of you out there listening or watching WNC HeartBEAT, be sure to follow and subscribe so that you don't miss any future conversations like this. And if you liked this episode, you can go check out last week's episode where we talked to Anna's good friend Marisha from the Food Connection. It's a really great companion to this conversation. And we'll see you next time.